It's On Second Thought, episode 355, powered by Hook'em.com. Cedric Golden here, coming to you from Atlanta, GA, site of Wednesday's Peach Bowl. The number 5 Texas Longhorns meet the number 4 Arizona State Sun Devils in a college football playoff quarterfinal at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Kickoff is noon Central Time on ESPN. The Longhorns are 3 wins, count them, 1, 2, 3, 3 wins from a national championship. But first, they have to get past an upstart Arizona State team, picked last to finish in the 16-team Big 12 by the media, but they're right here thinking upset in the Elite 8 of the CFP. What a season turned in by Kenny Dillingham and company. We're bringing you a special Tuesday edition of On Second Thought. I know we usually drop on Thursday, but since the Horns and the Sun Devils are playing on Hump Day, we decided to give you a little early New Year's Day treat. Here we go. I was at Media Day on Monday with Statesman colleagues Danny Davis and Sarah Diggins, and we spent an hour with the Texas contingent. So instead of bringing on a guest this week, I decided to share some of my conversations with some familiar names. Let's start at the top of the food chain with head coach Steve Sarkisian, who we know started out his first year here at 5-7, but has led the Horns to a record of 8-5 in 2022, 12-2 in 2023, and 12-2 in 2024. That is big time. That is 32-9 over 3 seasons with a Big 12 title, an SEC title appearance, and 2 CFP appearances in the last couple of seasons. They're the only team from last year's 4-team bracket to make it back to the bracket, the 12-team inaugural CFP tournament. Things are going good on the 40 acres. The top 5 recruiting classes are rolling in. The NIL money is falling from the trees, and Steve Sarkisian has the full support of Kevin Eltife, the chairman of the board, the president, Jay Hartzell, and his boss, Chris Del Conte, the holy trinity of Texas athletics. That is a power base that is as good as any in college athletics. Here's the thing about fan bases now. I mean, the Horns are back among the national elite for the first time since 2009. But these fan bases, there's a little sneaky tendency for them to see this recent success and assume, hey, this is who we are, and overlook the blood, the sweat, the tears it took to build this thing. It didn't happen overnight for Sarkeesian. There's been some sleepless nights at the house, and the players went through 5-7. They had an embarrassing loss to Kansas in year 1, so they know what it feels like to be on the other end of a bad loss. But here they are, definitely back among the big dogs of college football, and he built it from the ground up. To that end, I asked Sarkisian about these last 3 seasons, this great odyssey, the journey it took, and how much his guys are appreciating being in this position to almost be in a national semifinal in his 4th season. Right where you are today. How much are your guys appreciating this opportunity and embracing it? Because fan bases they will assume that, hey, this is who we are, and they don't think about the work that went into this.
I think our guys really appreciate it. I think that, a year ago, we were one of the 4. And I think the natural thing was, we're going to go to 12, and it's like a foregone conclusion. You just get back into the playoff. Well, you turn around when those 12 teams were announced, we were the only one of those 4 teams from a year ago that made it back into the 12. And so I think there's a great appreciation for just how difficult it is to make the college football playoff and then to have success when you're there. I think the vets on our team don't forget the taste in their mouth from a year ago in New Orleans when we came up short. And so I think there's a real sense of serious approach to what we're doing. It's very businesslike, but yet we have a fun group that loves to be together. But I do think there's a high level of appreciation of just being back in the stage.
The process to get here is step by step, but you got a lot of senior leaders that are, that have been here. They were here for 5 and 7. Jake Majors, Gunnar Helm, Jahdae, those guys are here. They're going to be gone. They're going to be making a lot of money this time next year. What example do you think they set for the younger guys that are going to be stepping into their shoes next year?
Yeah, I what I love about it and what I love about our culture is we really try to highlight and promote the guys that do things the right way. And whether that was Roschon Johnson and Bijan Robinson early on, to a Jordan Whittington, to a Tavondre Sweat, right? As guys grow in our program, we really try to push them to give them that voice, to give them that exposure so that other guys can see what it looks like. And so I think it's a credit to Jahdae and Gunnar and Jake and those guys to kind of understand and follow the lead of that. But I can already see it in younger players following these guys' leads. And so I'm hopeful that just becomes the natural progression for us as guys move on, that next wave of guys step into that role from a leadership standpoint and hold one another to the standard of what it is to be a Texas Longhorn football player.
I've talked to these to your seniors. They want to win this thing for you too. How does that make you feel? Because these guys, you guys have been through it. I mean, this did not happen overnight.
No, it did not. It's been a heck of a journey. And we all knew it was. I think if it was easy, somebody else would have been sitting here, right? And it's not easy, but it's really gratifying, right? And we say it all the time. Is it difficult? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes, right? And so these guys have poured a ton into this thing. Obviously, our staff has too. And so, like I said, to be on the stage is amazing. But I think we're beyond just being happy to be here. We're trying to go win it. And that's a little different mentality maybe than we had a year ago.
Steve, you weren't much older than Ken.
This is a great matchup between a pair of National Coach of the Year candidates in Sark and Dillingham. Got to give it to the young coach at Arizona State. He has built a nice crew. To steal a line from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon, he has an island of misfit toys. He's brought in some guys that were kind of cast-offs from other programs, people like former Longhorn Zach Swanson, Xavier Alford. Those guys were here in Austin, but for some reason or not, it didn't work out for them. They have found success at another location, and that is Tempe, Arizona. Swanson told me he's having a much more enjoyable experience in Tempe than he did in Austin. And Dillingham, in just his second season, is already creating a winning culture there. He has a group of players who don't mind telling you what they think without worrying about hurting anyone's feelings. There's swagger in Tempe. Swanson has his team playing with confidence. Running back Cam Scatterboo, who was at Sacramento State a couple of years ago, is an All-America running back, and he believes that he is the best running back in the country, even if he is 900 yards behind Ashton Jeanty of Boise State. Freshman quarterback Sam Levitt says that he is going to show that he'll be the best quarterback on the field on Wednesday. Now, that's a nice little, here we go, on guard to Quinn Ewers, who, it goes without saying, is the more experienced of those two guys. So you got to have swagger, you got to have confidence, and you can't think you're going to win a fight and go in timid. And the Sun Devils are anything but. So speaking of Quinn Ewers, I had a nice conversation with Quinn, but before we get to that, I want to do a little bit of house cleaning on the injury front. We did speak with wideout Isaiah Bond, who believes he will be ready to go on Wednesday after suffering that high ankle sprain against Georgia in the SEC title game 3 weeks ago. We'll see if it's the head talking or the heart talking. It'd be good to see him back in there. It gives Texas another credible threat, definitely after the catch, one of the most dangerous wideouts in the country. Right tackle Cam Williams is also questionable, but Sarkeesian has said that the MRI that came back on his knee wasn't as serious as originally feared. Center Jake Majors is good to go. He told us that he hurt his back when he took that blindside block on that interception against Clemson, but he's ready to get after it. He was getting around pretty good on Monday. So back to Quinn, who's maybe the most underappreciated quarterback in program history. You know his story. He was a 5-star recruit out of South Lake Carroll, the number 1 overall player in the country in the class of 2021. Signed early with Ohio State, spent a year in Columbus. Damn, it's cold up there. So he came back home to Texas, where he was named Big 12 Newcomer of the Year in 2022 after 10 starts. And then he was second-team All-Big 12 in 2023. Another big year this season. He's battled some injuries along the way, but Quinn Ewers has the Longhorns poised to make a real legitimate championship run. So he's the guy that led the Horns to a Big 12 title last season and was, a 12-yard completion, A.D. Mitchell, in the Sugar Bowl from beating Washington in the CFP semifinals. Quinn has made his mark here, guys. He's 26-8 as a starter, and if he can run the rest of this CFP table, he will leave here as the third winningest quarterback in school history, right behind Colt McCoy and Vince Young. That's some real exclusive company. And here we are on the eve of a CFP quarterfinal, and he's looking to add to his legacy. The Fansville deputy is in his final season as the starter, and depending on who you ask, he's either going pro or he will get another nice check from a college that's in need of an experienced quarterback who's won some big games in his career. Now, we can all agree that Arch Manning will be running this offense next season, but this is 2024, and Quinn Ewers, this is his team. He's 3 wins away from joining Duke Carlisle, James Street, Eddie Phillips, and Vince Young in the pantheon of quarterbacks to lead the program to a national championship. To that end, I asked QB1 about this journey he has taken, his relationship with Steve Sarkisian over these last 3 seasons, and the bond that they've built.
Okay, this is a bit of a grind, and by now it's more of a job.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as I've grown older, I've matured and kind of understand the position more, and that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it the same. I mean, I could be doing anything else, but I get to play quarterback at the University of Texas, and nowadays get paid for it. So just couldn't be more thankful that I'm able to do this. It's a kid's game that I get to play, and it's just so much fun.
When you have nerves Wednesday morning, what's your pregame emotion?
I just try to stay as calm as I can, and just treat it like I'm back in Pee Wee football, just enjoying the moment, playing off instincts. But obviously, you can't really do that anymore. But I just try to look at it like that.
When usually the 2 most important people in a football program are the head coach and the quarterback, and your relationship with Sarkeesian is one of the closest in the country. What would it mean to bring a national championship home, not only in your senior year, but also for Coach Sarkeesian, who's gone 5-7, 8-5, 12-2, 12-2?
Yeah, it'd be so special just for the entire team, but especially for me and Coach Sark, just the amount of work that we've put in together with Coach Milwee as well. I think that we've all grown together, and we've all just kind of continued to build the relationship together. I mean, that'd be a wonderful moment for sure.
When you look at, fan bases can sometimes assume, you guys just put 2 12-win seasons together. They'll go, oh, this is who we are, and they'll overlook the process that it took to get to this point. You guys have had some ups and downs, and now you're one of 8 teams remaining in this playoff. How much are you appreciating the process, appreciating this journey with your teammates? Because it's not a guarantee that you can be Elite 8 every year.
Yeah, no. Just super thankful for everything that's happened this year. Everything's a learning experience, everything's a learning moment, and just proud of how this team just always continues to bounce back from adversity. It just goes to show the maturity that this team has, and I just these guys are why we all do it. Just everything that we've done together in the off season and in the summer and in fall camp and in spring ball. It's just like, this is the reason that we all get up every morning and continue to to kill our bodies every single day.
Quinn, I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Good
Quinn,
luck.
if I put you on the spot, a couple of key moments, plays, what jumps to your head first this season?
Well, I think the goal line stands the past 3 weeks against A&M and then again against Clemson have just been amazing plays and just kind of, I think, show the attitude of our defense. Just the never give up attitude. It's first and goal within the 5-yard line against A&M, and I think it was within the 5, at least within the 10, whatever it was. But just them not giving up has been really cool.
Be selfish.
I know you can tell Quinn was his usual laid-back self, but he was having fun with the media on Monday. I just noticed that the Horns are loose, and they're smiling and joking, and they have the look of a team that knows it's going to win this game. It's not bravado. It's not arrogance. They've been in the position before, and they usually deliver in games like this. Frankly, they look like a 14-point favorite, and that's what Vegas has the point spread right now. So also talked to Quinn Ewers' favorite target this season, tight end Gunnar Helm, who insists that he read somewhere before the year that he was projected to catch 9 passes this season. Well, that's 9 more than a dead man, and Gunnar was anything but dead. The senior caught a few more than that. How about a program record 55 catches for 688 yards and 6 touchdowns? He is definitely on the radar of Arizona State. He's Quinn Ewers' security blanket, and he's really good after the catch. Check out my chat with Gunnar.
Also speaks volumes to our culture and just the character of our coaching staff. But this senior class, I think, deserves it more than anyone else. I mean, we set the foundation of this team, and we held ourselves to this standard. And getting this senior class a national championship to cap off the career that we've had. We've been from the bottom, and we've slowly worked our way to the top. So, from 5-7, like you said, to 2 straight college football playoffs, I think would be absolutely incredible, storybook ending.
The running backs went down preseason. C.J. Baxter goes down. Christian Clark goes down. When you're Jake Majors going that running back room, who's going to step up?
Yeah.
Who the hell's going to step up?
Exactly.
You challenge these young guys. And they stepped up. What put it on your heart to challenge these guys, knowing how important they were going to be to your success?
Yeah, I think it's probably the deepest running back room in the country. And, in this position on this team, I think it's plug and play. So if you come in as a freshman, you're expected to play, and that's exactly what JG has done. That's exactly what Christian Clark was ready to do. That's just the mindset of our running back room. Coach Choice holds them to a very high standard, and their job in practice every day and every game, every day that we go out to practice is just uphold that standard and, know they're playing for the best running back room in the country, the best running back coach in the country.
So when you see Jaden Blue overcome his struggles and just blow up last week, did you recall those preseason conversations and the encouragement you gave him? Because I know he remembers that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, going back to our culture, going back to how close we are as a team, just everyone being on Jaden to, be his best and work towards his best and fix his issues in the offseason. It speaks volume on his character, and I'm glad that he's able to do what he's doing now.
Gunnar, I appreciate it. Thank you,
so
man.
much. Appreciate it.
Well, Gunnar Helm, what you see is what you get. He keeps his game face on. Dude is all about the craft, and he has so many incentives to play his butt off for as long as the season lasts. Like I told him, he and Jake Majors have played themselves into the NFL draft conversation. Plus, they have a chance to literally go out like national champions, go out as national champions, rather. The Horns, on the other side of the ball, they wouldn't be here without some really talented players. And there are so many heroes on that side of the ball. You want to start on the interior with Vernon Broughton and AC Alfred Collins, or even Kill Bill Norton, who saved the Clemson game with a big tackle in the fourth quarter. On the edge, you've got Jahdae Barron. You've got Barron Sorrell. You've got Anthony Hill when he wants to be a pass rusher. You've also got the talented Colin Simmons. But it all starts in that secondary where they have 3 guys who have been magnificent all season. Andrew Makuba came over from Clemson. The LBJ legend was the perfect addition to a secondary that was 116th against the pass last season, and now they are a top 3 pass defense. Michael Taft continues to make plays. He's the spiritual base of that secondary. And then you get Jahdae Barron, who is the best defensive back in college football. With all due respect to my man Travis Hunter, got to give it up for Jahdae Barron, who became the 3rd player to win the Thorpe Award at Texas. His mentor, the OG Michael Huff, did it in 2005, and Aaron Ross, an ATL resident, who will be the honorary captain on Wednesday at midfield with ASU legend Jake Plummer, did it in 2006. Jahdae has been the spokesman for this team for the last couple of years, and he gave us a great look at the culture that's been built on the 40 acres. Check out our conversation.
The fan base can sometimes assume that, when you put 12 and back-to-back 12 and 2s together, this is who we are. But there was a journey that came with that 12 and 2. You guys have put in some real work to get to this point.
Yeah.
Have you imparted that to the young guys that, hey, it takes work to be the best? There's 125 teams that would love to be here today with the Elite Eight. There's only 8 teams. So how important is it that these young guys know that, when Jahdae Barron leaves, that you can't put it on autopilot. You got to go back and put that work in.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a process, into life, I mean, even for yourself, you probably didn't start here. You had to go through steps and go through adversity and things like that to be where you're at today. So I think it's a blessing, and then it's a challenge that you have to accept when you wake up every single day and just go out there and to chase greatness, Nobody's promised greatness. Nobody's given greatness. You have to go work for greatness. And even if when you work for greatness, you can fall short. But ultimately, you know that you work for something and you got up every day with a motive and a plan. So I think it's just going through a process and going through a journey and trusting the process, ultimately. Trusting the process and trusting everybody who's around you and pouring in, and then and also letting people pour into you and then you pouring into them. So it's just kind of a two-way bond. But this whole process started off culture, just the culture and the brotherhood that we have here, connecting with one another, because ultimately if you can connect with somebody off the field, you can connect with somebody on the field. And I think that's what allowed us to just go play fast and play for each other. And even when somebody makes a mistake, everybody makes mistakes. You can accept it and you can pick them up and just keep going and just keep playing. So I think that's what helped us get to where we are today, and just over the years build here, just to have a culture standpoint. From being on a team 3 years ago to just having it with a few leaders, and then last year just having more leaders, and then now having more leaders and just putting it in effect. So I think the culture, that's what hit it off.
Steve Sarkisian comes in here.
I think Texas wins this game, but I've got to give the Sun Devils flowers. They are a talented bunch, and they're led by the most confident running back in America. Cam Scatterboo has run for almost 1,600 yards and is on an absolute tear lately over the last 3 games. 494 yards, 9 touchdowns, 7.6 yards a carry. He says he's the best running back in the country, even if he's over 900 yards behind Ashton Booty of Boise State. That's okay. Nothing wrong with confidence from your best player. I love the swag. I love the fact that he's got a chip on his shoulder. We asked him on Monday if he thought he would project as a fullback on the next level, and he said in 2 words, no chance. I'm a running back, and I've got no interest in playing fullback in the NFL. He's a hard-charging, tackle-breaking terror in the open field. The biggest question is, how do you slow down Cam Scatterboo? I asked talented linebacker Anthony Hill about just that, and I also wanted to ask him about him coming into the team that was coming off of a 5-7 season and then an 8-5 season, and how that has helped transform him, those lessons, into the great player that he is.
How do you stop Cam Scatterboo? How do you stop him?
It's going to take all 11. I mean, we have to win the line of scrimmage and get all 11 hats on them.
What does he do to make things challenging for a defense? I mean, even an athletic defense like Texas.
Yeah. I'm watching the tape, and he's making the first and second guy miss a lot, so we have to be able to execute tackling at the line of scrimmage, and we can't give up leaky yardage, and we have to be sound in the run feeds.
So when you got here, the guys were coming off 8-5, but there's some OGs, Jahdae, Gunnar, and Jake. Those guys, they know what 5 and 7 is.
Yeah.
How appreciative are you of them for laying this foundation for success to come after they're gone?
So I came in early in January, so I got to experience a lot of the winter workouts and the taste of being 5 and 7. So I kind of like understood what it meant because I was like pretty much there with them, like coming back from the 8 and 5 year. So I kind of understood everything it meant. Guys like Barron and Murph were kind of one of the leaders for me. So I kind of just soaked everything they told it for me and just took it from there.
How appreciative are you guys?
Well, man, I hope you enjoyed a visit with some of our conversations with some Longhorns from Media Day 2 days before the biggest game of the season. Media Day was a stone groove, and so was the opportunity to visit with you on this week's podcast. We're covering this thing from pillar to post in the ATL and from the house back in the 512. Get the latest on hookem.com from our writers Danny Davis, Thomas Jones, David Eckert, and Caleb Yum, along with some great photos and videos from our visual artist, Sarah D., a.k.a. Sarah Diggins. Game time is fast approaching. One other thing, Tony Catalina has wrapped up the Texas A&M season. That stuff is on statesman.com. Really good content there. Another disappointment for the Aggies. It's going to be a long off season in College Station. Game time is fast approaching, and the Longhorns have the look of a team that's not ready to call it a season just yet. Enjoy Texas, Arizona State. We will see you on the next On Second Thought. Until then, have a happy, safe, prosperous new year. Give a hug to your loved ones, and we will see you next time on Second Thought.